Welcome to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Borough in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington. Welcome here to the program Sportsline Trivia. Bob Tattern with you. And tonight, of course, the phone number 724-236-0430. Mike Pavlik joins me. Mike, good to have you aboard. My first night without positive news about the Penguins. We kind of dragged them through the spring and the early part of this good time of the year, good hot weather. They're going to finish up the Stanley Cup playoffs toward, if it goes to full 7.
Yeah, they're going to start Wednesday, and then I think the second game will be Saturday. And
I
think try to go. Then the hockey usually tries to do. They'll go Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, and then the NBA is going Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, and they're kind of running concurrently because of the NHL season got started late.
But this won't go into July.
No,
okay.
No, it's
it'll
long
seem
enough.
That way.
As far as I'm concerned, it's over now. So.
And if you have any thoughts about our Pittsburgh Pirates as well, you're invited to make the phone call, give us your opinion. We have a decent-sized studio audience here tonight. How about that?
It's nice to have them here.
So we welcome our audience tonight. We have some new folk, and we have some...
there we go.
Nobody even had to hold up the cue card.
No, we don't have that. We don't have the cue card. Letterman's guy. Yeah.
Well, anyway, folks, again, you've got the number. Here's what you got to do to win a prize. We're going to make an exception tonight for a couple of the members of our studio audience. You can only win, but every other week at that household address. You can win the Grand Salami or the Mystery Profile once in the calendar month. And you can only try the Mystery Profile once in the calendar month. And there's good reason for it. Multiple choice questions, we give you 15 seconds. The Grand Salami, they're the hard ones, 20 seconds, but it's a $100 prize. And clue by clue for the Mystery Profile, first-time callers will get 2 or more prizes with the correct answer. The answers to the trivia questions can be found on my sports website, and doubledribblebob.com. I do a radio show. It's heard every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock on WAVL. And it's on the AM dial. That's strange to a lot of young people, but WAVL is 910 on the dial.
I grew up with AM.
So we've got a caller. We got a lot of people in the studio audience tonight. I want to thank them again for making the trip to come out and participate here with us. We're going to take a commercial break and return momentarily here on Comcast Channel 190. Stay with us. This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go, Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold.
Max and his son made their way homeward bound when mischievous rain dropped down, down, down. Safety was threatened by every roguish drip. They slipped and slid. They couldn't get a grip. Then along came the Michelin Man, reminding them the right tire changes everything. Stop up to 31 feet shorter than a leading competitor with the new Michelin Defender tire, backed by a 90,000-mile warranty. Michelin, a better way forward.
Available at Highland Tire under the bridge in Toronto and Freeport Road, Natrona Heights. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. Our Sportsline Mystery Profile tonight will be sponsored by Mattio's Pizza and Subs in Tarentum. You know, everything on Mattio's menu is made with quality ingredients. Their hand-tossed pizzas, gyro sandwiches, subs, hoagies, calzones, strombolis, wingdings, and lots more. Mattio's Pizza and Subs has it all, including their signature Ironman hoagie. Mattio's located right across from, well, actually adjacent to, is it the Bengal? Carolyn Bengal's Magistrate's Office. You will occasionally see a police car up there, but don't get alarmed.
No, that means they're keeping it safe.
Okay. Anyway.
Nice neighborhood up there.
Again, folks, good to have you aboard. We're going to go to the phones first and pick up a call from, who's on the line again?
I think it was Terry.
Oh, Terry. Terry, how's Cleveland doing?
Bob, did you have to bring that up?
Not a good weekend, eh?
Not a good last 2 weeks or so, I think.
Yeah. They seem to do the same thing every year. It's just like they'll fall apart just a little bit right before the Pirates do. So that's usually how that works.
Last year I got so disgusted I started pulling for the Pirates and didn't pay attention to the Indians. And you saw what happened to the Pirates. So I won't do that this year and try to help you guys out. I'll stay neutral for the Pirates.
It's probably a safe bet.
You know, you mentioned AM radio. I started sitting here thinking about, 30, 40 years ago, I'd start spinning the dial around and listening to baseball games on AM radio. You'd get like Philly and Boston out of Hartford and Baltimore out of Washington, D.C., and Minnesota and Detroit and Cleveland and St. Louis and Atlanta and even Texas Rangers out of Dallas. You could get all that on AM radio.
And Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit. I used to listen to Detroit.
WJR.
Times have changed. FM networks and low-powered AM stations only. And
I'll tell you what, I still listen to the games, but I have a package that Major League Baseball offers that you just like right on the laptop here. I can listen to every game, and it's $19.99 for the entire year. And starting at the beginning of spring training all the way through the last game of the World Series, I get every game.
Yeah, I have that same package for TV, and one of my kids bought me a little box that
sling box.
bridges between the internet and my TV set.
Right.
And so I don't watch it on the computer. I get high def on the TV. So that's pretty cool.
It is. It's amazing. Technology's unbelievable. Like you said, you'd ride around in the car with my dad, and he would try to be tuning the stations in with the, trying to get the Cleveland games in. And we lived out there for a while when my parents were first married and when I was first born. And my dad would ride around in the car, putting me to sleep when I was a baby, listening to Bob Prince call the Pirate games on the radio because he could get the Pirate games in Cleveland in the car, but he couldn't get it in the house.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, speaking of Cleveland, I don't know if you ever heard of the guy that used to be a TV play-by-play announcer for Cleveland many years ago, but he also had a sports talk show for many years. His name was Bruce Drennan.
Oh, yeah, it was Joe Tate and Bruce Drennan used to do Indians games.
And Bruce, I don't know, 10 years ago or so now, I suppose, started betting on the Internet, which was illegal in Ohio. And somehow the authorities got word of this, and he ended up getting arrested and serving jail time for a few years.
My goodness.
He now has a sports talk show called All Bets Are Off. Well,
he has Pete Rose on,
I met
doesn't
the
he?
IRS guy that got him, and he said that the audio tapes, the phone taps they had, were just hilarious. And I don't remember too many of the things he said, but the one thing was, talking to his bookie, I got to win this one. He says, I won't be able to eat this week if I don't win this one. He was desperate.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'd like to say hi to all the IRS agents that are tapping in listening to us right now. How you guys doing out there? Just figured, I'm sure they're listening. But that's I didn't know that about him. Joe Tate was his partner on those games, and this is back when we first got cable. And you get the games on Channel 43 out of Cleveland, and they're like 6,000 people there on a good day.
Back in the 70s.
In the 80s, early 80s, it was completely empty.
I actually was in Vandergrift that night at the movie theater, listened to the game on the way home on the car radio, ran in the house, turned on the TV, and saw Rick Manning catch the final out in center field.
Yeah, that was one of the things I remember from high school days. That was pretty awesome. But Joe Tate did Cavaliers games on the radio.
Yeah.
And for many, many years, up until maybe I think this year that they just had was the first year he was off. Joe Tate, his health had gotten bad, and so he's just been supplanted by a local guy. Guy's name's John Michael. He's out of he's a Pittsburgh guy. I went to Swickley Academy, and he does the Cavs radio broadcasts now.
And I got familiar with the Cleveland Indians baseball network when Kiner left the Cubs to go to Cleveland. And the station, I believe, Terry, was 1220. I forget the call letters now, but at the time I think it was WERE or WEEE.
It was 3WE, WWWE, something.
Is that what it's-
3WE,
yeah.
I think.
3WE would have been 1100.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Before that, WKNR was on 1220, and then it became, or no, WGAR, and then it became WKNR.
Okay, for Kiner.
Maybe.
exactly.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knew?
You never know.
Yeah.
Well,
I heard this trivia question on the Indians game, I don't know, the other night. Since Ted Williams hit 406, 3 American leaguers have hit 380 or more. I got 2 of them. See if you guys can get them.
Brett and Carew.
Not Brett, no.
Carew, though.
Yeah, Carew was one. Oh, wait, yeah, Brett was the other one, yeah. Now
Yeah.
there's one more.
how about Griffey?
How about Harvey Keene?
No.
Okay,
Well,
help me
don't
out
rush-
with
don't-
help me out with an era.
Probably the late 50s.
The late 50s, an American leaguer that hit
Al
over
Kaline.
380.
No, not Al Kaline.
Wow, this is great television.
Oh, he was one of the, I'll tell you who he was with. He was with Boston. Was it Pete Reeser?
He was with Boston, but it was not Pete Reeser. And I'll give you a clue. This is a trick question.
Oh, gosh.
It was Ted Williams.
Oh, he did it again.
Yeah.
That makes
He almost hit 400, 12 years, or 14 years after he did it.
I can remember, Carew was one guy that always had a shot. George Brett was a guy that always had a shot, and Tony Gwynn was another one. Tony Gwynn, it almost needed to be a few amount of at-bats. And the thing that's always killed me about the steroid era is that the home runs went out of sight, but batting averages never went anywhere. And I always wondered why that was. Well, the pitchers were doing it too. That's a dirty little secret that nobody seems to mention, that, the pitchers were juicing too, and probably still are.
Well, maybe everybody was just swinging for the fences. I'm more powerful than I used to be. Don't worry about averages. I don't know.
I think you may have a point there, but you would just thought by accident. Considering what these guys were doing to themselves, the batting averages would have gone up. It never really did. And now, you watch baseball now, you're looking at the 1970s right now. This is exactly what it looked like in the 70s, exactly.
Yeah. All right, Terry, let's do some trivia.
Sure. I think I qualify again for the mystery profile.
Sure. Let me do this one, Mike, if you don't
Try
mind.
that if it's available.
All right. And it is, of course, sponsored by Mattio's Pizza, and they're located at that first traffic light, Brackenridge Heights, right next to the Bengal District Magistrate's office. Okay. So here you go. If you get the answer on the very first one, and I think you've done it before, Terry.
Yeah, I think I did that twice and then got one on the third one.
Well, let's see
I
how your
think.
luck runs here tonight. First question, if you get it right on this clue, it's worth $100 in prizes. I am the only major leaguer to hit 2 home runs in a game for 4 consecutive games.
Don Mattingly.
Okay, let's skip down to the $75 prize. Good shot. I hit more home runs in the first 10 years of my career than any other major leaguer.
Mel Ott.
Nope.
Really? Wow.
Yep, we're going down to number 3. I led my league in home runs for 6 consecutive years.
He gets it now.
I don't know about that, Mike. years. Oh, Ralph Kiner might have
You
done
got
that.
it. You got it.
Huh.
I know. Now, did anybody in the audience, was any of this connecting with you? Okay. Your fourth clue, now, so you wind up with $50 worth, Terry.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, so you guys in the audience, you see how easy this is? Okay. All right. The fourth clue was, at one time in my life, I was married to a tennis pro. Do you remember her name? It's worth $10 cash.
This is for the 3 rooms of carpeting and the gift selection from the Spiegel catalog.
I was going to say Bobby, what's his name?
Yeah. No,
that old guy that had played Billie Jean King in the Astrodome.
Oh, yeah, Bobby Riggs. Bobby Riggs.
Only in Vermont, unfortunately.
I have no idea who she would have been.
It was Nancy Chaffee.
No, I'd have never
And
heard
they
of her,
divorced
but yeah.
early. My the Tinker Toy clue was, I was told we finished last with you, we can finish last without you. That would have given it away.
Ranch Ricky's
You
quote.
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Terry, thanks for the call.
Thank you guys
Thanks,
very
Terry.
much.
Good to have you with us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Can I impose on the young lady in the studio to come up to the mic tonight? Can I? Chrissy, would you do that? Now, to show her how easy this is, she may be laughing. Mike, just give her number 8.
All right, let's do this.
Number 8. Now, when you look at the
Now, these
monitor,
are multiple choice, so
Okay.
we'll try to take it easy.
now, if you do get it by chance, we're going to give you 2 prizes because you've never participated before.
Okay.
The second thing is, just for being here tonight and your first trip, you're going to get something. Okay. So this is Chrissy. She resides in Leechburg. She's here with her husband tonight. And John? Is it John?
Yes.
Okay. Right behind you for moral support. So, Mike, it's all yours.
Here we go. Name the oldest major leaguer to hit a home run. Now, I can't be much more direct than that, can it? The oldest major leaguer to hit a home run.
Now, you're allowed to confer with your husband.
Was it Jack Quinn, Barry Bonds, Julio Franco, or Carlton Fisk?
Now, don't rush. You got 15 seconds.
Jack Quinn, Barry Bonds, Julio Franco, Carlton Fisk.
I'm going to say C.
Julio Franco, is that your final answer?
Yes.
Julio Franco is correct.
How about that?
We have a winner. Giving stuff away like there's no tomorrow. How about that? That's awesome. Julio Franco, I believe, was 46. Hit a home run at 46.
Yeah.
He wanted to play till he was 50, but he
He
wasn't.
was also the oldest man to steal a base.
And that was the age.
And the oldest to hit a grand slam.
And that was the age he admitted to. God knows how old he really was. He was probably like 60. So.
All right. Chrissy,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Chrissy.
You win big
Thank
prizes
you.
here tonight. 2 of them. All right. We do over a break, so we're gonna regroup, as they say.
Yes.
So Mike and I will get our thoughts together, and you folks at home as well. Do we have another call, folks? Okay.
Gotcha.
As soon as the break is over, we're going to go to Mark on the phone, and we shall return, as MacArthur did say.
In the famous words of General Douglas MacArthur, what do you mean I'm fired?
Back in a moment. Since 1914, people in the local area have relied on the Resevich family in deepest time of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley. Its reputation and unquestionable service speaks for itself. Now the proud tradition of service continues with a 4th generation. The Resevich family serves the AK Valley from 2 locations, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road, Lower Burrell.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Faldarelli Square. And at Tower Auto Sales in Blawnox, you have the luxury of choice, because where you buy your vehicle is just as important as what you buy. Call Mike Fanto and let Tower Auto Sales experienced sales staff help you with the purchase of your next pre-owned vehicle. But remember the slogan at Tower Auto Sales, just buy it. Tower Auto Sales, Freeport Road in Blawnox. Give them a call at 412-828-6202. Hey, don't forget, now Father's Day is coming up this weekend, and if you've not gotten a gift yet for Dad, my book would make a great gift. It's Bob Tatter's Sports Minutes. Over 300 short sports stories, funny and fascinating, odd and unusual. You can pick up the book at Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, Blackburns located in Tarentum, Costello Printing in Tarentum, and of course, the Hot Dog Guys. They're out at the exit 14 of the Route 28 Expressway, and they've got a bunch of the books out there as well. It's less than $20. Get it for Father's Day. It's a great collection of some great stories, okay? We're going to go to Mark on the phone. Mark, thank you for calling. Good evening.
Good evening, fellas.
Hi, Mark.
What do you think, not knowing what went on with your show earlier, Tim Tebow's going to sign with New England?
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm never right, so when I am, I want to make sure to point it out to everybody out there. I got one, finally. That I thought he needed to go somewhere where there wasn't going to be any clamor for him to actually start. He needed to go someplace where there was an established quarterback, a Tom Brady. Ben was my original thought to come here. But see, here's the thing. If he has to play 2 games a year, say, Brady nicks up a knee or does whatever and can't play maybe
just wants to take a weekend off.
2 in a row or late in the season. But I mean, don't you trust a guy to play a game or 2 to go out there and win you a game, because you're really not too worried about statistics and what you worry about normally with these guys. All you're worried about is winning the game. And I think that on a good team with an established quarterback as a clear-cut backup where the circus won't be as much, and the other thing that comes into play here is that Josh McDaniels is back as the offensive coordinator with the Patriots, and he was the head coach in Denver when Tebow was drafted first. So he already has a relationship with the coach, and I'm sure that there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes there to get him there as a possibility. But I think it'll work out fine, and I think he needs a few years to do that, and to extend his career, to be a backup. There's going to be no controversy with Tom Brady.
And if you know the owner, Robert Kraft, I'm sure that he pushed to get this,
Well, yeah, and because when you sign Tim Tebow, I was going to say a guy like Tim Tebow. There aren't any guys like Tim Tebow. When you sign Tim Tebow, there are other things that have to come into the media circus,
consideration,
the crush, everything that goes along with it, and are they going to be okay with that? And I think that does have to go to the top of an organization. I don't think that's just a coaching decision; that's an ownership decision.
You don't have to worry about such a thing as Plaxico Burress shooting himself at a nightclub.
No, he's going to do that. He's going to do that here now, and we're so happy to have him back. But
okay, and one other thing then. Last week when the Pirates beat the Reds on that Sunday, there was Garrett Jones hit the ball in the river on a fly. They say he was only the second player to ever do that.
Right. I thought they said he was the first.
The first Pirate.
The first Pirate. What was a guy from Cincinnati that was the first period?
Darryl Ward. Darryl Ward was playing for Houston. He was playing for Houston at the time when he did it. Yeah, he came here after.
Boy, I would have loved to have been able to see Willie Stargell play.
Could you imagine?
Oh,
back
my
in
gosh.
time, how many river balls there would have been.
He didn't make too many cheapies, I'll tell you that.
Did you see the TV shot of the pirate parrot in the boat?
Oh,
No,
they couldn't find it.
it.
It sunk. It took too long before somebody, are you going to dive in that river for that? Not me.
Well, don't the balls usually float, but I heard it sunk?
It did. That's what they said. It was under the boat. Pompey sent a camera crew over because he actually took a camera guy and they just walked across the street, across the bridge, and went down there and interviewed a bunch of people. And they said by the time that somebody finally decided they were going to dive in there to look for it, it had sunk.
Now, can you imagine the search for the ball had that been the final home run by a Barry Bonds or...
Well, you remember all the boats in McCovey Cove when he was chasing the record in San Francisco that they... And I'll tell you what, the boats that were in that river and the kayaks for the home run derby at the All-Star game was just loaded with boats.
Yeah.
There's no way that ball would have made it.
Well, that must prove the balls aren't corked because cork floats and this didn't float.
That's right.
Way to go, Detective.
I'm ready for my multiple choice. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Your turn there, Mike?
No, go ahead.
Oh, my turn? Okay. All right, you get number 9 in order. So, folks in the studio audience, take a look just in case. We'll see how good you are, too, with this. You ready, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Who is the only Major League Baseball manager to be fired when his team was in first place? Could it have been Yogi Berra, Billy Martin, Pat Corrales, or Casey Stengel? Take your time.
Guess the old man Casey Stengel.
Oh, Mark.
No.
Pat Corrales, 1983 Philadelphia Phillies.
They were 43 and 42. They were in first place.
He was a game over 500?
One game over 500.
I thought he was a game under 500.
They fired him. He was replaced by Paul the Pope Owens, who took over. Paul the Pope Owens, I believe, was probably maybe like 85 at the time. I don't know. I'm exaggerating a little bit. But that was the Philadelphia Wheeze Kids of 1983 when instead of the Whiz Kids, they called them the Wheeze Kids because everybody was over 40. They had Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, Tony Perez. They had a really good team 10 years before that. But it was 10 years, these guys were all in their 40s, but they won the pennant.
Oh, they did from after that then? Oh, okay.
They won the pennant. They came in. They won at, who in the heck did they play?
I thought it was New York.
Atlanta, maybe.
Oh, wait, who are you talking about?
Who the Phillies beat in the playoffs that year?
Who'd they beat in the
83,
playoffs?
I think it might have been the Braves. And they snuck through to the World Series, but then they were beaten by Baltimore. With Rick Dempsey was the MVP that year.
This is where you get an education, Mark.
Yes, sir. I'll remember that. Okay, you guys have a good night.
All right,
Thank
God
you very
bless,
much.
Mark. Thank you for the
Bye-bye.
call. How about somebody in the studio audience? Can we get you up here? Joe, John, Bill, Pete?
You know I'm always up for this.
Hi, John.
Well, I'm going to drag you guys back to hockey season for just a moment because I know you guys eschew it as much as possible, but it's not over yet. The Stanley Cup Finals are still going.
Right.
What Marc-Andre Fleury, obviously not put in for Game 3, though a lot of people, including myself, thought he should be. Bo Kuhn messed up. Sure, Fleury was put in cold for Game 2 and he let up 3 goals, but a cold Fleury is a bad Fleury. A prepared Fleury is something you can put your faith behind. Not putting him in, clearly he's no longer the number 1 goaltender. Dan Bilesma starts to say otherwise. Is it just window dressing? Will he demand a trade? Because if I were him, I'd be looking over my career options. Is Fleury staying? And if not, where's he going?
And he's under 30. He's got plenty of time. Yeah.
He has no standing to demand anything, frankly.
Well, but
he really doesn't. He's to the point where he's lucky he's currently being talked about as being a number 1 next year. That, as Mark Madden said today, was that Dan Bilesma really standing behind Marc-Andre Fleury, or was he shining him up to put him in the store window? Basically, he's a trade. I think they're going to trade him if they can. But the point is this: you can't just do it. You got to remember that there's an 82-game regular season, and somebody has to play those games. 38-year-old Thomas Vokoun's not going to play 50 games in the regular season because then he'd be worthless to you in the playoffs anyway. He'd be worn out. He even said after they had lost, the reason he thought he fared so well in the playoffs to begin with was because that he was rested from not having played a ton of regular season games, and believe me, and I told you before, that's a move they didn't want to make. They didn't want to have to yank Fleury.
All right, now let me ask a question, John. With all the offensive power that we have, how did we not score against Boston?
A lack of adjustment. I think that falls directly with Dan Bilesma. He didn't adjust. We came in, we played the same game we played everywhere else, and Boston knew how to beat it. They knew that how you got to, defense wins championships. Tuukka Rask was hot at the right time. That's what really mattered there.
Was he ever?
And that's exactly it. You hit a hot goaltender, what can you do? But with this much firepower, there's no excuse. I really think that Bilesma lost the room at some point. He was just saying, go out there and play. You guys have the firepower. You're good enough. I don't think he was coaching anymore.
I think they did adjust. Here's what I think happened. I think they adjusted to the point of that they were so skittish after that second game when they gave up so many odd man breaks, chances, defensive breakdowns. I thought that they got into the room and they discussed it and they decided, well, we have to make sure that we really clean up our own defensive end and we have to tighten this thing down. I think they adjusted backwards. I think they adjusted to something that they're not. They tried to play too defensively. And they did. They played way better defensively. They gave up, 3 goals in the next 2 games, which turned out to be, too many. But the point was that you didn't see the same offensive juggernaut Penguin team that you had seen before, because I thought they were skittish. And there's one thing I hate. It's when offensive teams try to reel it back thinking, okay, if we don't attack us ferociously, then that's the same thing as playing defense, and it isn't. And I just don't think they were capable of doing that, trying to make that adjustment that late into the process, that late into the season. And something that, and we agree with this is something that needs to be preached from day one. You can still have a bunch of offensive starts and score a lot of goals, but when the puck gets into your own end, you need to know what to do, and I'm not sure they did. Their defensive system was, get it out of there. And it's like, let's have the puck. Well, you need to have something more to fall back on that you can trust when things go bad, and they didn't.
So if you say that they adjusted, does Bausma stay? What's his future then?
I think he's going to be fired, actually.
Off season or?
I think it'll leak out tomorrow and it'll be official on Wednesday. How's that?
Wow.
Now I have nobody knows, and I checked out people that I trust on Twitter and everything, and people close to Bilesma and people close to Shiro don't know. Nobody's talking, which is telling me it's coming from above. And also, so that makes it a wild card. If it was up to Shiro, he'd just keep him, I think.
And also, the New York Rangers are the ones that are interested in Bosma. Mm-hmm. The problem is, we don't want this guy to go to a divisional team.
And he'd be perfect for them at this point, because you go from Tortorella to Bilesma is about the same as going from Terrien to Bilesma at the same time. You always hire the opposite. And the thing that worries me is if they do fire him, what they're going to bring in. Are they going to go completely opposite on us and go to some lockdown defensive coach, which isn't going to work? Now, the thing that would make me think that wouldn't happen is that Mario Lemieux still owns this team.
He's still
and
he's smart enough.
And that's not going to happen. Your person is?
Oh, Lindy Ruff.
Lindy Ruff. And I agree with you 100%. That would be the first guy I'd look at. There's also rumors about Dave Tippett, who is currently the coach at Phoenix, but his contract runs out at the end of the month, and their situation is so up in the air that are they going to commit to a long-term contract to a guy that they don't even know where they're going to be playing, and he doesn't know if he can get something somewhere else.
He might not have to.
And he would be in demand. He'll get a job. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He does a great job. So, and he has history here. He played here for a year. So,
didn't think of that. That's true.
He did 83, the most points they ever had, and they didn't win the Stanley Cup. So.
You ready for trivia, John?
I'm guessing you don't have a hockey one, guys. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting.
I get a Russian weightlifter question. Would you like that?
Hey, probably know more about that than baseball anymore.
I should make one up. I should come up with a hockey question just if you're here.
You bring the toughest one you got, and I will take a swing
We did
at
that
it.
one to Tony a couple weeks ago, and he's not called back.
Frankly, it scared him off. So
hey, there was a Grand Salami here once back when I was working for the show way back in Lower Arnold. Where you just go out of nowhere, you just go name the one guy who captained 2 championship-winning teams, and without thinking, I go Mark Messier. Like that would have been a Grand Salami question.
Speaking of him, have you noticed his name floating around?
As a coach,
he's never done it, and it's like that kind of stuff scares me. They're talking about the Rangers as a possibility with him because he has history there. But sometimes you hear those names, and that's the kind of stuff that worries me about firing a guy that I already know that can win.
The closest we can come to a hockey question is Grand Salami number 5, because he was arrested once. Wasn't he? Remember?
It's the only sport he didn't play. Anyway.
That's a clue.
That's a clue, John.
Just give me a multiple choice.
Oh, man.
That scares me. That scares me greatly.
Well, I hope one of these guys in the audience takes number 5. But anyway, go ahead. Your turn, Mike.
Okay, here we go, John. Since 1920, the live ball era, Tim Kirchner would be so happy. Since 1920, what hurler holds the record of most innings pitched in one season? The most innings pitched in a season since 1920. Nolan Ryan, Mark Fidrich, Mickey Lolich, Robin Roberts.
As much as I want to go with the bird, I'm going with Nolan Ryan.
It is not Nolan Ryan. It was another Tiger, though. It was Mickey Lolich. I believe it was 382.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I looked it up when you told me about it, and on Mickey Lolich also has the all-time record for most strikeouts by a left-handed pitcher in the American League. Who would have guessed that one?
Hey, John, thanks for coming up. We're going to take a commercial break. We got a few other folks here in the studio. We want to get in. Do we have a phone call back there, guys? Oh, that's a no. You want to shut that red light out? You're killing me. We'll take a break. Mike and I will be right back. Stay with us.
Husqvarna, taming the wild.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tattern's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubletripplebob.com where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Borough. Don't forget, now Father's Day is coming up this weekend. Get the book to make him a happy guy. Let's go to the telephone again. Who do we have? Hello?
Gentlemen, this is Rich.
Hey, Rich. Good to have you. Did you get your cap?
Yeah, I got 2 of them.
Okay, well, I sent one to your wife, too.
Right. That's pretty neat.
Good. I'm glad you liked it.
So what's on your mind, Rich? I haven't heard from you in a while. Good to hear you.
Yeah, tomorrow, you think they'll have a sellout down in tomorrow for Garrett Cole?
I heard tickets are going fast. Now, I can, I'm gonna find the StubHub here and see, there's only 1,200 tickets left on StubHub, and the lowest price is $14.10. Now, just as the next night, 3,100 tickets left, and the lowest price is $6. So, yeah, there's some demand for tomorrow. I think they may sell the joint out. That's unbelievable. I hadn't looked at that today. $14.10 is the lowest price for any of these games, and that is the lowest price I see for any Pirate game on here, the whole list. So, yeah, there's a little bit of buzz for this one. And it works out perfectly for the Pirates, too, because with the Penguins just falling out, and people are going to turn their attention to something else, and the Pirates are doing well, for now, before what eventually will happen that we all know. And but we won't talk about it until it does. But I think it should be a nice crowd. I hope he can stick. They don't seem to really want to commit that they're going to keep him here. I hope he pitches well and he just never looks back.
Well, they were supposed to bring him up like the middle of June now. That's still on because they would get more time out of him.
Well, the time element went early in April. I think I had it figured out to the 15th. It's days. It's service time in the major leagues. So if they waited past the 15th of April, they would have him for all of this year plus 6 more. So he can be here all of this year plus 6 more years. What they're fighting with now is the arbitration date, which is nothing more than going to cost them money, and this is how the Pirates do business. They would rather not have their best players here as long as they don't have to pay them. A certain percentage of guys will be able to get arbitration after they've had 2 years in the league. And what they're trying to avoid is that. And that can be the difference between a guy in his 3rd year making $300,000 or making $3 million. That's a big difference. So that's what they're trying to avoid now. And the date floats. You really don't know. And it won't be for 2 years before they would know if he's going to fit into that category. But it's right around.
I heard a big discussion on that today, and 2 hosts were
arguing back and forth.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, so that's where they are with that. But the part that I said, and we talked about it here earlier, was I think it would have been stupid in their part to start the season with him and cost them a whole year when you only needed to leave him down for 2 weeks. And so now they've done that. He had a little bit of a dip in the minors. He wasn't pitching great. But now the last 3 starts, he has not given up a run. So.
Well, it looks like Carson's down. He's going to be out for a while.
Yeah, they said 10 to 12 weeks, and I think that's before he can pick up a ball, Jeff Carson. So I think that you start doing math now. Here we are already at the heading into the middle of June. I think that's it, and I don't know that. Not only do I don't know that he'll ever pitch here again. I don't know that he'll ever pitch again. Supposedly, Huntington said on Sunday that he was hopeful that if everything went well, that they could maybe have him back in the bullpen for September. And they said, they know he'll work, and there's no doubt about that. But that's just a guy whose body's broken down, and it's a shame because he turned himself into such a good pitcher too, and that's just that kind of stuff happens.
Now Morton, he's supposed to come back maybe Wednesday or Thursday if his rehab goes through, right?
Right. Wandy Rodriguez was to throw a bullpen today, and I don't know if that's happened already or not. If they were going to do it at night, they had the big Sporting Clays shoot today. I know all the Buccos are thrilled about that on their off day. So I don't know how they were going to work that out, but Wandy was supposed to throw in a bullpen today. If everything went well and he experienced no issues, he's going to make a start on Thursday. If he did have issues and was unable to go Thursday night, and they were going to put him on the DL, and Charlie Morton was going to pitch Thursday's game, and then we're going to work him back in. Now, if that doesn't happen, I don't know what they're going to do to Morton. He certainly can't pitch out of the bullpen, you wouldn't figure. So they have some interesting decisions to make here with these guys, and that's what leads me to believe that they really didn't want to bring Garrett Cole up yet. But I mean, they had a position of need here. They just got too many pitchers getting hurt.
Now they brought Presley up. I'd like to see him play more. He's a good leadoff man.
Well, Rich, too many guys just aren't hitting, and if he could give you at least a spark for a week, I wouldn't be against it. Even in right field, Snyder's not hitting. Marte's really struggling. Really, no one's hitting the ball, and that's going to be a problem. You can't keep up the way they've been pitching for an entire season and expect to get away with it without having basically any contributions from your offense. And I mean, you take a guy like McCutchen. McCutchen in his last 460 plus at bats is batting 265. That's 4 months. That goes back to last year. This guy's making all that money and he's batting 265.
Well, what happened yesterday, too, in the ninth inning, I didn't care for that. Trying to steal when he got thrown out.
Yeah, he supposedly had the green light. Hurdle took the blame on himself, saying that if he didn't want him to go, he should have put the red light on. And,
Jones got a hit right after that.
Well, of course. Didn't you know that was going to happen? You can't. You got to know the situation of the game when you're down by 3 runs in the last inning, that your run doesn't mean anything, and basically you're one base at a time right there.
Okay, Rich, you ready for some trivia?
Okay, let me have the multiple choice.
Multiple choice. I'm going to give it my turn. Question number 2. Who is the only player in the role of a designated hitter to be inducted to the Hall of Fame? Was it Frank Thomas, Dave Kingman, Danny Tartabull, or Orlando Cepeda?
I'm going to say Orlando Cepeda.
You are correct, Rich. Way to go.
Rich, you haven't lost your touch.
And the studio audience gives their approval.
Round of applause.
Okay.
Way to go, Rich. Thanks.
Hey, Rich, thanks. Enjoy the Caps.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's take. You know what, John? You've not been up yet, right? You ready to go?
Sure, why not?
All right, we're going to get John up here. John.
This is a familiar voice, and they're finally going to put a face with it.
From Brackenridge. We'll mosey on up to the mic and chat with us about what tonight.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
I'm from Natrona, by the way.
What did they say, the Heights? I'm sorry.
You said Brackenridge. A little more up the river, you know.
It's all islands to
Once
me.
a river rat, always a river rat.
It's all islands to me, yeah.
Say Garrett Cole pitches well on Tuesday, tomorrow. Does he stay, or does he go back?
I think if he pitches well, he stays. I really don't, like I said, I really don't know what direction they're going right now, and I'm not sure that they do. They needed a guy to pitch Tuesday, and it was his day to pitch, and they really didn't have anybody else to do it. We were talking the other day about how, back in the old days, you take somebody out of the bullpen and pitch them. One of your guys that maybe deserved to, it was a long man or something. But I think if he pitches well, I think there's really no reason to send him back. And here's the thing, Burnett's entrenched, Liriano's entrenched, and really Locke is entrenched himself. You can't take any of those 3 guys out. Mm-hmm. And Rodriguez isn't going anywhere. So that's 4 right there. So then where are you? You got Morton coming back and James McDonald, who frankly, he can stay wherever he is right now.
It's nice to have more pitchers than
spots.
Really, because you think it's still early, but if they do make a push or a run towards towards October.
And it's been proven the last 2 years you're going to need these guys.
It just might work out,
Yeah, I hope it does. I'm not the biggest Charlie Morton fan in the world, but right. He at least has been able to pitch on the major league level and get people out. So health and I think the health is good now. They said if he pitched Thursday, that's the 1-year anniversary of his Tommy John surgery, which that's really speeding up the process a little bit. That's faster than you normally would see someone starting in the major leagues.
How about old Grilly? How about that deal? Really? Because if you look at Hanrahan's he's on his second Tommy Johns, I think, up in Boston.
Yeah, he's on his second one, and
that's unbelievable.
And Grilly's had one too. You got to remember, Grilly came off Tommy John surgery when he was pitching in the minor leagues in the Phillies organization, and he had one of these out clauses that a lot of these guys are having now. Around June 15th, these guys will be in the minors, and if they haven't been promoted to the majors yet, then they get to declare themselves a free agent and go find themselves a major league job, which a lot of them become available at this time of the year. And that's exactly what happened to Grilly. And for some reason, the Phillies figured they didn't need him, and the Phillies bullpen's a mess right now, and he's the best reliever in the National League at this point.
Yeah. Two more things.
Make it fast.
I don't know if you guys heard about Alvarez. He hit that home run out of Wrigley the other day.
Right.
He did, yeah.
And I was listening. I don't know I think it was on the radio this morning that they sent a security guard out there to get the ball from one of the fans or a passerby outside, and he said, "If I'll get that ball, anything in exchange for that ball." That's crazy.
Yeah.
But and second of all, I got a trivia, guys, for you too.
Oh yeah.
Can you name 2 active pitchers to beat every team right now in the league?
I would say Roy Halladay might be one of them.
I got 2.
All right, give it to him.
Burnett and Zito.
Well, that makes sense. Zito's been around long enough. I would have thought Halladay, but maybe Halladay never beat the Phillies.
All right,
he's only being in one National League team. That can.
Right.
All right, your turn for trivia.
Sure. We'll take number 2. I guess we'll try the salami.
A salami.
Yeah, why not? It's been a long time.
Now, for the benefit of those in the audience, if he gets his thing right, there's no multiple choices, okay? If he gets his thing right, he gets $100 in prizes plus a genuine salami from Fazio's Deli in Arnold. That's the prize.
It's a long trip.
You've got 20 seconds.
It's a long trip up to the top to match Tony.
All right, John, here you go.
Number two.
Who holds the NFL single-season record of highest points per game scored? The single-season NFL record, highest points per game scored average.
Patriots.
No, it's a single player. It's a single
Randy
player.
Moss.
It is not Randy Moss.
No.
Paul Hornung, Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
All
John.
right. Appreciate it, John.
Thanks for coming.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'd like to have Joe. You going to go up and talk? Okay, we'll have Joe. And John, you going to give it a shot?
I'll give it a shot.
Okay, we'll get 2 of you up here. Let's take a break. We'll come right back here on Sportsline Trivia. Don't go away.
380 Auction and Discount Warehouse, Route 380 Murraysville.
Automotive supplies, groceries, housewares, pet supplies.
All at discount prices.
Sofas, dining tables, recliners, dressers and desks, lamps and end tables.
All at discount prices.
Yard and landscaping supplies, special catalog orders, mattresses with full warranties.
All at discount prices.
School supplies, tools, paint, toiletries, model cars, toys.
All at discount prices. Get to 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse today, Route 380 Murraysville.
Why do Arnold Furniture's customers continue to come back year after year? Maybe it's the personal touch that the Miller family has provided since 1975. Maybe it's the prices that are consistently lower than the competition. Or how about the selection? 4 floors of living room, dining room, recliners, bedding, accessories, and so much more. Plus free local delivery, free setup, and free removal of your old furniture guaranteed. The choice is obvious. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
You have the luxury of choice at Tower Auto Sales because where you buy your vehicle is just as important as what it is you buy. Call Mike Fanto at 412-828-6202 and let their experienced sales staff help you with the purchase of your next pre-owned vehicle. Remember, at Tower Auto Sales, they say just buy it. Tower Auto Sales at Freeport Road in Blawnox. We've got 10 minutes left in the program. Joe, we're going to have Joe come up. Joe's a resident from Leechburg here. So, Joe, all right, welcome to the Hacienda.
Thank you.
Good to have you. Anything on top of your mind? Or?
Yeah, I've been busy the last couple weeks, but I haven't heard nothing about Heath Miller. Are they has he recovered well, or they got anybody to replace him? I know it's going to be hard to replace
Matt Spate's
him.
back.
Is he?
Yeah, unfortunately. I saw him interviewed in one of the first days they had a mini camp, or OTAs, whatever's, I don't know which one melts into the other. But he said that he's doing everything he can to get back, and his goal is still to try to make it for the first game.
Right.
But he didn't sound too optimistic about that, and it was almost like he was sounding like it was going to be a Mendenhall type rehab, which would maybe mean he may miss 2 games, maybe 3 games, something like that, and then he may be okay after that. Their bye's going to be early because they go to London and they're going to have the bye right after that. So I believe they may play 4 games and then go right into a bye. So you always, when injuries like that, you kind of want to look at the bye week and see when it is, and you kind of backtrack from there. But he wasn't doing it. He wasn't participating in any of the drills or anything like that, and I don't even think he's running yet. But he said it's coming along, but it's going to be a process. So hopefully, he's not talked about enough how important he is to that team. He really is important, and especially when they seem to lose a wide receiver every year, he becomes more important, and they don't seem to want to throw to their backs, and maybe that'll change. But
I mean, I don't know how Jens feel, but I think he's top 10 in the NFL.
Well, I think he is too, and I think he's always been underrated. He's been a great blocker, and really Arians' offense didn't really call for the tight end to be thrown to. And of course, I mean, any of us that have been around know. It's like we've always cried that they don't throw to the tight ends enough. And we even had tight ends as coordinators. We had Malarkey and Wisenhunt. They still didn't throw to the tight. Eric Green's the only guy that got the ball.
Blocking. They use their wide receivers for blocking.
Right, exactly.
So he's just unbelievable, and he's going to be hard to replace.
And he's so reliable, and I'm hoping that he gets back because they're going to need him. And I don't know with how Ben's going to be too. Hopefully that's just a minor thing, like they said. A lot of times it's just cleaning it out. But he's taking a beating too, and you start to look at it that he's no spring chicken anymore either. It's 10 years for him, and he's taken a beating on and off the field.
Certainly. Thank you very much.
All right, you ready for trivia?
Yes.
Okay. Is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. You want multiple choice? You want to take the big opportunity?
Multiple choice.
Okay. All right. We go with number 3. Am I correct? Okay. Now, somehow this wound up on the multiple choice, but last week Paul had this as a mystery profile, so no coaching from Paul. Okay. All right. Joe, here we go. Who hit the only All-Star Game Grand Slam home run? If you get this because you're new to the show, you've got 2 prizes coming out. Was it Mel Ott, Fred Lynn, Babe Ruth, or Mickey Mantle?
Let's say Fred Lynn.
You're right. Woo. Can you imagine that? All right, 2 prizes coming out to you. Joe, thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you
Appreciate
very much.
it.
Atlee Hammaker was the pitcher from the Giants. That was at Comiskey Park, 1983.
Okay, and we wanted to get up John. John? John's going to give it a shot. John, we only have a couple of minutes anyway, so we're not going to, tax you too much here tonight. But we appreciate you coming out and spending some time with us. Anything foremost on your mind?
You were talking about Ben. I don't know. Every time I hear about him and see about him, I don't know. What's your thoughts as far as how do you think he's going to perform? I mean, when he gets into it, is he going to be good? Is he going to? Do you have?
We're talking Roethlisberger, of course.
Roethlisberger, obviously.
Yeah. Gosh.
It's been a career of broken plays.
Right.
Exactly. It really has. It's like he's gotten further on broken plays than any guy I think I could ever remember. But it's like there never seems to be any real structure with him. There never seems to be. The offense never sings like it does in New England or New Orleans. Or with Peyton Manning at any of his stops. It's never, okay, here we go. And the first drive, they just march it down the field, 12 plays, and it looks like it was like through hot butter. It never looks like that with them. No. But he's won 2 Super Bowls, so you can't really argue with the results. But and I know there to change some things. I saw Ben said that he and Haley had gotten together, and a lot of the guys on the offense had gotten together and tried to pick out some of the things that they liked, the things that they could use. Mm-hmm. And now they're going to be different people coming in. I really like Le'Veon Bell. I think that's going to be a good addition. They need a threat in the backfield. I don't think, those guys that they had when the line was really together and playing well in the middle of the season, those guys were getting 100 yards and they were effective. But none of those guys were ever a threat to take it all the way and get that one big one that you need. Right. And I think Bell can do that. And hopefully they'll throw him the ball. I just wish they, maybe, you save a lot of wear and tear on your quarterbacks when you toss it, but you can dump it off to the running backs too. So hopefully the second year of the new system, hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully the offensive line can stay together. They're going to have the youngest offensive line in the league. A buddy of mine said the other day, the problem with them is they're old. I said, not anymore, they're not. I mean, the problem isn't that they're old. The problem is that the old guys that are gone, the young guys that have come up aren't as good. Right. That's the problem. Right. And that's, those things you have to try to overcome. But, a lot of things have to come together for that offense to hum like I think it can, and it just really never has. It's just always stops and starts and sputters, and then, the defense needs to put you at the 5 and then maybe you pound one in, but so. I got my fingers crossed, but I don't think they're going to be bad either. I think a lot of people are, if they, same guy I was talking to said, if they go 8-8, I'll be happy with that. I can't be happy with 8-8. Yeah. I have my sights set a little higher than that.
All right, only because of the lateness of the program, John, we're going to have to go to trivia. And again, you're new, and if you get, you're going to go to multiple choice, I'm assuming?
I'm multiple choice.
If you get this correct, 2 prizes are coming out to you. So here we go. You have question number 4. Is it your turn, Mike? Or?
It is me.
Okay.
With at least 100 pinch hit at bats, what major leaguer has the highest pinch hitting batting average? That's a great question. Bill Terry, Joe Cronin, Rod Carew, Lloyd Wainer. Who has the highest pinch hitting batting average with at least 100 at bats as a pinch hitter?
I'd have to say Carew.
That is correct.
Whoa!
See, we talked about him earlier. We gave Rod Carew some pub. That's what did it. I guess we have all kind of winners tonight, Bob. We have to back up the prize truck.
We've had 3 people tonight, all new, win 2 prizes. We had Terry, who won $50 worth on the mystery profile, and we also had Rich from Cheswick, who's a repeat caller. He's won before, but he won a prize. So 2, 4, 6, 7. Plus Terry on the $50.
Yeah.
So the prize closet is taxed.
It is.
Thank you. It's been a great evening for Mike.
Thanks for coming,
So it's been a great show. We thank you for watching. Don't forget now, it is repeated Thursday nights at 8:30 on Comcast Cable Channel 190. Tell your friends about it. Would like to have you aboard as well. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Bob Tattern.
I'm Mike Powell.
And we'll see you next week at this same time. Way to go, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
KLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.